The issue of legalization of marijuana, whether for medicinal or recreational use, has long been debated in the United States. While 16 states currently allow the use of medicinal marijuana, more states are considering passing legislation allowing it. We spoke to Professor Skladani to get an expert's perspective on the issue.
What happened, the key event in medicinal marijuana use was Proposition 215 in California, which allowed for the medicinal use of marijuana for any illness, okay, that it was deemed to provide relief for. For example, instead of calling it pot or swag or whatever, all right, they call it now medicine, okay? And so stoner culture has been replaced with medicinal discourse.
We also interviewed students to gain a different perspective on the issue.
It should be legal. I mean, people have aches and pains, people have things that it helps them with. Why not?
It's good if it can be used for medicinal use to help people who have health issues, but obviously if there wasn't a way to help those people right now, then marijuana would be used right now. But there are other options, so it's not necessary to make it legal.
Marijuana has been said to be a gateway drug to more dangerous drugs. However, much like the issue itself, many are in disagreement on whether or not it is truly a factor.
If it's easier to use and people can just use in the open, it can be a gateway to other drugs and people can start getting carried away with, like, I don't know, cocaine, meth, even heroin.
I think it's an excuse people use. I don't think there's any, like, you smoke marijuana, you're going to do a harder drug. That's not what it is. I just think that once you start getting involved in substances, you start getting more curious, and anything you do is going to make you more curious. So to say that that's why it should be illegal doesn't really make much sense when I think all the other options you have lead to just as much as it does.
While the use of marijuana is currently illegal and therefore not gaining any tax revenue, many feel that legalization of the drug could help benefit the economy.
Yeah, that's why I think that if the government would put a tax on it, it would be just as they can make just as much money as they do selling cigarettes or something like that. They could make such a big tax profit off of it. That I don't see in some point in the future how they couldn't do it.
But you could tax the hell out of it, uh, regulate it, have to be 21 to get your hands on it, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. Um, if cigarettes are so much money right now, and if you did that with marijuana, with as big as the industry is now, you can make a ton of money.
What's happening in Ohio was last year the University of Cincinnati undertook a survey of residents of the state. 73% of Ohio residents were in favor of legalizing marijuana for medicinal use.
I think eventually it's going to be just because at some point all the states, I mean, eventually at some point it's going to be legal everywhere. There's too much, people can make too much of a profit off of it. The government be able to tax it and things like that. So I think there's just too much money sitting there for them not to eventually legalize it.
I think eventually, not in the near future, but eventually it will. And in terms of full legalization for recreational use, probably not. But I mean, decriminalization is about as close as it's getting, and I don't know. I think if society keeps going, I don't know. Maybe actually, yeah, I'm gonna change my mind. I think yes, way down the road, it'll be fully legalized.
I think eventually it will be legalized throughout the country, just because if it's already started in California and they've had success, they haven't had a problem with it, they're sticking with it, then I don't see a reason why other states wouldn't start trying it. And I guess 14 states are trying it, so unless there's some issue where they would have to completely stop it, then it's going to spread to the entire country.
And so it looks as though while policymakers, both Republican and Democrat, tend to be somewhat favorable toward legalizing marijuana for medicinal use, it doesn't look likely that it'll happen anytime in the near future in Ohio. Although other states, there's 14 other states that have legislation initiatives going on right now.
This issue will continue to be hotly debated for years to come. Will marijuana ever be legal in Ohio? As of now, it remains to be seen.